A face of Hong Kong's protest movement has been freed from jail a day after a mass rally in the territory against an unpopular extradition law. Joshua Wong was the student activist at the heart of the 2014 pro-democracy demonstrations. He was sent back to jail last month after losing an appeal to quash a sentence for his involvement in the protest known as the Umbrella Movement. He says he'll be joining the latest protests soon.
What we ask for is such urge Carrie Lam, the evil chief executive, should withdraw the extradition amendment. And what we try to do is just through civil disobedience and direct action and let the whole world, let the international communities to realize that how Hong Kong people will not keep silence under the suppression of President Xi and the chief executive Carrie Lam.
Well, organisers say up to 2 million protesters rallied in Hong Kong on Sunday in the latest demonstration against the extradition bill. It would allow people in the territory to be sent to mainland China for trial. The proposed law was suspended on Saturday, but opponents want it dropped altogether and the territory's leader, Carrie Lam, to step down. A group of protesters who camped out overnight after Sunday's mass demonstration have gathered closer to government headquarters. They blocked a road next to the city's legislature for several hours before moving. Well, Sarah Clarke is there and joins us now. And Sarah, they're keeping the pressure up as Joshua Wong is released.
They certainly are keeping the pressure up, and as you mentioned, Joshua Wong has called on these protesters to remain strong and committed to the cause. In his press conference outside the jail, he said he doesn't just want the suspension of this bill, he wants this bill withdrawn altogether, and he will join these protesters later. Where we are now, we're at the government headquarters, and this is where the protesters are now starting to rally. Now, Josh Wong's also thanked governments around the world for their support in the Hong Kong's opposition to this extradition treaty, but he's also called on the other 22 activists who've been jailed in Hong Kong. He's called on their release. Now, and as you mentioned before, Josh Wong, he was the face of the Occupy Hong Kong movement in 2014, where Hong Kong was paralysed for about 2.5 months, and that was the pro-democracy protests. Now, he's become the face of this particular protest, or he will from now on. He's been in jail 4 times, but of course today was his release. And it's extraordinary timing for his release, and I assume it will make this particular movement stronger.
Right, and as far as the protesters are concerned, what's next for them?
Well, as you can see, as I mentioned, there's a couple of hundred people behind me now. There's the people who organised yesterday's protest. They've called for another rally this afternoon at 2 p.m. It'll be no means as big as yesterday, where, as you mentioned, 2 million people marched in Hong Kong streets. That must be a record, at least since the 1997 handover. But these protesters have said again and again they want the withdrawal of this particular bill. They don't want it just suspended. As for what's happening inside government headquarters, there's nothing happening. It's been closed for 2 days. We had Carrie Lam's apology yesterday, and of course she announced the suspension of the bill on Saturday. But as for the debate on this particular bill, it's been adjourned. The council meetings are shut today and tomorrow, and Carrie Lam's put no deadline on when the resumption of that debate will start again.
All right, Sarah, thanks very much. Sarah Clarke reporting there from Hong Kong.